Hey guys, Civilian Soldier 762 here, and I just want to do a video today. It's not so much, a WASR verse arsenal. It's more of a video to show that WASRs are capable rifles, and there's nothing wrong with them. You know, on the internet you see lots of bad talk about them, and most of the crap you hear or read is from people who don't even own them. And there was a lot of things that were true about these rifles, but that was more with the older ones that were, originally single stack rifles. I mean, if you have one that's been made within the last several years, 99% chance you have an excellent rifle. The WASRs, for what they are good rifles. So I just kind of wanted to point out the differences, and between a WASR and like a higher end rifle like an Arsenal. So I guess we'll start out with the first thing you notice is the finish on these. The WASR here, it's a parkerized type finish, and it's kind of grayish looking, where these rifles are a painted, I don't know if it's like a moly resin or what it is. It's a painted finish though. And on both of them, this one looks a little nicer, I'd say, but realistically they're both will scratch fairly easy. In the long run, the parkerization probably will hold up better, just the elements and stuff like that. But after heavy use, either of them are gonna look like crap. So I don't know if I'd give a plus to either one on finish. They both have decent finishes. The SGL-21 looks a little better, but that's nothing major. I mean, that's really with WASRs, the only things that you can really complain about them are cosmetic issues. I mean, as far as function, they're 100%. With these rifles, also on the WASRs, you'll notice with a lot of the AKs, they have the 45-degree gas block here, where these have a 74 style 90-degree gas block. And then you also have your standard 14x1 left-hand threads with a slant break, and these are 24mm thread on your Arsenal rifles. These WASRs come with wood, where these are polymer, and really the wood on this rifle doesn't. I don't think it weighs any more than this. It actually feels maybe a little bit lighter, which might just be me, but really weight difference, there's nothing. And one thing about WASRs that people complain about, I see lots of videos on it, and it's not the rifle's fault. So many people are misinformed. When they go to rack it, they'll pull it back and it'll hang up. Which, if you do it right, you're not supposed to ride the bolt anyway. But that has nothing to do at all with it being a WASR. My Arsenal did that, my Polish did that, my other WASR did that. Tons of rifle AKs I've seen, just about every one I've ever seen does that when they're new. And the problem is not with the rifle. What it is, it's the aftermarket hammer right there. Let's see if you can see that. Sorry. The profile of the hammer, it's squared kinda. It has like squared rough edges, and the bolt carrier, and actually in the bolt, it'll get hung up on that if you ride the bolt forward and just let it stop there, but you barely nudge it and it'll come free. Over time that'll wear itself out, where you can polish your bolt and carrier and the face of your hammer. So that's really, I mean, it's not the rifle's fault. It's the hammer that comes in these, the Tapco triggers. These washers, one thing you'll notice about them is the bullet guide right here. It takes up the whole entire surface. They have a notch in the chamber for the bullets to feed properly. You know, any washer I've shot or owned has no problems feeding ever, never had an issue with them. These arsenals here, let me get this cover off. Awkward angle. If you look at the arsenal, the bullet guide is just this wide right here, if you can see down in there. It doesn't go the full length of the trunnion or width of the trunnion, which doesn't matter because that's the only distance where the bullet would actually come out of the magazine into the chamber. But you know, that's the difference in the two. And if you can see my arsenal rifle here, how I've polished the hammer face, because it did the same thing as that Tapco did. I mean, if you would ride the bullet forward and just really ease off, you could get it to catch. So that has nothing to do with washers being bad rifles. Another main cosmetic feature about washers that you notice a lot is most AKs you see this dimple here. And a lot of people will say that that stops magazine wobble, and really that's not the truth. This dimple in AK receiver is to help reinforce the receiver where there's a big hole there and material taken out. So it's to make the receiver stronger. What you have in these rifles, there's a little ledge right here. I don't know if you can see that little piece that are welded in. There's the welds for it right here. The washer has that too. And that helps stabilize the mag some. But like, people complain about mag wobble with washers too, and any washer I've ever felt actually has little to zero mag wobble. I'll show you with several different types of mags here. Here, and these are all standard mags, you know, that you can find. Here's a Bulgarian Circle 10. Put it in, lock it. Just a little tiny bit of play. Here's a surplus steel mag. This one fits loose in every gun I've had, so it'll probably wobble a little bit. That's actually me moving the gun some too. That's not the... Just a little tiny bit of wobble. Here's a Tapco slab side, like Bulgarian style mag. That one locks in there super tight. No wobble at all with that. And then a standard regular Tapco mag, and that fits super tight too. No wobble, you can shake it, nothing. So I'll go through the same thing with the arsenal there really fast. See this? The arsenal actually has more mag wobble than the WASR does. Oh, sorry. I mean, it's not a crazy amount, but actually what I've found is having a little bit of mag wobble is a good thing, because in some of the AKs I've used, like my last WASR, the mag well is so tight, you know, it's hard sometimes getting the mags in and out, or it's a lot easier with a little bit looser mag well. Not that it's going to impede any, you know, function or anything, but and even like the plastic Tapco mags that are super tight in those guns. See, there's a little bit of play there. So that's a myth about washers, about the mag well problems, which I'm sure on some of them, you know, especially some of the older ones, there probably were problems, because a lot of it, you know, these are single stack with the way they come in, and you can see right here how that's for a single stack. and they machine the mag well the rest of the way open. But the trunnions in them are actually just regular standard AK. I don't know if you can see down in there, like a double stack trunnion, where some of the rifles, like the Zastava or the Serbian rifles, those are actually the original single stack ones have a single stack trunnion too that you have to open up if you convert them. See on the arsenal here, you can see in the receiver the indentation there for a double stack mag, where the WASRs, the way they import them to get around some of the regulations with a single stack before they mill it, you can see the indentation there is for a single stack mag, but that really does nothing to the function. So to try to wrap this video up, I guess, to not make it too long, really what it comes down to with a high-end AK like this, or a standard, entry-level AK like a WASR, as far as function goes, these things function both basically identically. One thing that you will have with this rifle is it's a little bit more accurate. I mean, not incredibly accurate or anything, but it is a little bit more accurate. And I think what I attribute that to, not even so much as having a better barrel or anything, which it might, have a better barrel, but part of that is your 74 style muzzle brake here, and the way that compensates the gas. It makes the recoil a lot different than this with like a slant brake. It's a lot easier to keep on target, and your muzzle rise is a lot less, it seems like. And also, one thing that it's taken me a little bit to get used to, but the Arsenals have this two-stage trigger, which it's a pretty. I got the safety on this gun, I think. Hang on here. It's a two-stage trigger, so you can, hold the trigger, and then you have a crisp, clean break like that. Where with the Tapco triggers, they have an extremely light trigger pull, but it's a little bit less indefinite of where the trigger breaks. So I think between that and the muzzle brake is what helps this rifle here be a little bit more accurate. So as far as, guys looking for an AK, obviously right now is not the right time, because these rifles that were going for 500 or 600, even maybe a little bit less a few months ago, are now high as 1,000 or higher even. So, I would wait it out unless you're just terrified that you're not going to be able to get one. But, good rifles function great. I've never had a problem. With a little bit of elbow grease, you can make these things look really nice. You can swap the furniture, or even refinish this. There's my dog. Refinish this wood, sand it, stain it, and they'll look great. I even repainted mine to where it had a finish like this, the last one I had. So, WASRs are good rifles. There's nothing wrong with them. Majority of people who have owned them or do own them will tell you they're great rifles and they love them. So that's basically it, I guess. If you guys have any questions about either of these guns or anything else, leave a comment. I appreciate all my new subscribers I have, and all my subscribers that I had from before. So, guys, keep on watching, and if you have any questions, you can also go to my Facebook page, which is the same name as this YouTube account. It's Civilian Soldier 762, and I made that to help interact with people on on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, where it's a little bit easier to communicate, back and forth and stuff, because that's really what this is all about to me, meeting people, talking to people, hearing everyone else's input. So I appreciate all you guys, and thanks a lot. Baby,